Hello and welcome back to Generic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, the Goose, Josh.
And I'm John.
A very sad John. You want to know why?
John in denial, yes?
Okay, well, here's why. The Dolphins were like, win me a AFC East. Bills were like, no. The Dolphins were like, sorry. I just looked at the Archer meme earlier, so I kind of had to. John is not happy.
He thinks my mental health is a toy. The Dolphins should be paying for my therapy. I mean, though Chris Collinsworth almost was making me want to go back to therapy because he wouldn't shut up. But okay, well, I guess we can start. At the final game of week 18.
It was only one of like 3 important games, so.
Right,
and it became less important because of what happened in the morning. So
right, we were both going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess we can. Honestly, I know we kind of spoiled it. You know, the Bills won, but realistically, to get to where we got, we'll start with the fact that
yes, this is for week 18.
Yeah, I mean,
the final week of the regular season, unfortunately.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't really say that joke. I'm gonna get it. He's giving me death stares.
Throwing a shoe.
That won't stop me. So
throwing a shoe.
Okay. So how we got to this point, because everybody was talking about like, oh, the Jaguars are gonna win, and it's gonna be the Bills, lose it all, kind of win it or they're out. And honestly, I think that took some pressure off of them, which helped them, honestly. But really quick, the Titans, it was a good game by the Titans. They won 28-20 with a good performance by Derrick Henry, who's probably not going to be there anymore.
Well, I mean, revenge is a dish best served cold for last season.
Yes. Them out of the playoffs.
Titans screwing over Florida teams this season.
Yes. But yeah, probably Derrick Henry's last game. Ryan Tannehill's last game there, and
the other former Dolphins quarterback.
Right. And who knows about DeAndre Hopkins there? But honestly, who knows about Mike Vrabel? But the Jaguars just went on such a slide. Like they were bad for most of the. They were 8-3 at one point, and now they're 9-8.
They should have they had all the opportunities to win.
They did. Honestly, I still love Trevor Lawrence. He just got hurt, and I think that we talked about it. It's like Baker Mayfield. I think there was a lot of pressure and a lot of like, I can play through this injury. And yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of turnovers, so that did not help things.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of injuries to like Christian Kirk and stuff.
Christian Kirk was definitely missing. Like everybody said, oh, they overpaid Christian Kirk. No, they did not.
They definitely got the money's worth for him.
He could. I think it was a 3-year deal or something, and now it's like 2 years in. He could probably go be like, let's renegotiate and give him an extension and make more money this season too. You see how lousy they were without.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really just the Titans Jaguars game. That was part of what led us. That was the main key yesterday. Steelers beat the Ravens 17-10, but kind of had to know going in that it was going to be another slobber knocker, but also that the Steelers were going to be playing for their playoffs versus the Ravens, who were resting a lot of players.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's only so many players you can actually rest, so that's why it wasn't a complete blowout.
Right, I mean, they played a lot on defense. It definitely wasn't like Flowers. I think Isaiah. I know Odell didn't play. Lamar, obviously. Nor did Dalvin Cook, and he didn't play.
Gus Edwards did play, and so did Isaiah Likely, but and Justice Hill played too. So.
Right. Justice Hill was the one that I was out.
No, they didn't run. They didn't.
Starting running back, right? Because everybody's been injured.
Yeah, Justice Hill didn't run the ball. That's just it. He threw it to him, but he didn't run the ball.
But still, it wasn't really that. It wasn't important to the Ravens. So everything set up for, and the biggest thing with the Steelers was that DJ Watt's going to be out. He didn't tear anything, but he had a really bad MCL trainer.
Something like that.
MCL. I forget what I said. Okay, I might have said MCL. I was thinking PCL. I think somebody else, I think an Eagle or somebody had a PCL train. I don't know if that's one of your players.
I don't know.
I remember hearing about PCL as well the last day. But that basically brought us to your game. So
well, I guess this can continue. Well, continuing off from my game. First things first. First Steelers. I'm on your side. Kick the shit out of the Bills. I don't want to see. I don't want to see the Bills again in the playoffs. I don't know if playing them a third time is going to change anything. So I just want them out. But leading to our game, which
unless there was some weird thing, like you'd have to win. The only way that
we would play them again in the championship.
Yeah, that's the only place you'd be able to.
And I don't want to see them in the championship game.
So I think that they're honestly with how Miami's playing, with how Buffalo's playing, and how Chiefs playing. Who are the other teams we got? I trust the Ravens. Steelers have kind of been hot lately.
Honestly, the winner of I feel like the winner of the Texans Browns matchup gets the Super Bowl.
That very much could be, because you get rid of the games that DJ Stroud did by end. They've looked pretty hot, but Browns have looked even hotter. So that's definitely going to be that's probably the most anticipated game for me, and that's first. So it's going to be like all downhill for me after the first Saturday game.
Well, I mean, that's the most exciting game. I mean, legitimately, the Dolphins Chiefs game is legitimately I think is one of the bottom barrel games of the playoffs because of how poor we've both been playing, the Chiefs and the Dolphins. And well, let me just get back on track here about the Dolphins. It sucks about we lost basically we lost the other pass rushers that we lost, Van Ginkel and Cameron Good, and Cameron Good was just the backup special teamer. So we're now down to Emmanuel Ogbah and Melvin Ingram, which aren't bad, but we have no depth anymore. Or I hope we do, if we haven't already, or at least interview, try out people. Jerome Baker came back because they want to just have his first game be in the playoffs, and now looks like he's not coming. He's out too. So, but still, even with all that, our defense was not the problem last night.
No, they stopped running the ball. Even if they figured it out early,
well, I mean, legitimately, if you look at the scores, both quarterbacks sucked. They both only scored we only both scored offensively twice. It was a special teams touchdown that won the game for them. Yeah. Otherwise, I think we'd be playing the Steelers and it would have ended in a tie.
Yeah.
And we really, legitimately, we took ourselves out on the special teams touchdown, because I think that was the play that Cameron Good got injured and he ran into another player. So legitimately, I think that I know some Dolphins fans actually wanted this because the Chiefs haven't been playing well, and it was the easier matchup than playing the Bills again. And they're not wrong in a sense, but I don't know if we play like we play, I still think the Chiefs magically have a better advantage than we do.
Well, here's one: you do play them again. A, like you said, championship round. B, hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, even if they are 12-2 against you, or something under Josh Allen and the last 2 years. Anyways, that being said, those are the and it'd be for the Super Bowl. So it's better to. I mean, if you were to beat them, who's to say that they weren't just going to come back, study all the film, get better, and beat you this week?
Exactly. That's the thing. I think we have a better shot. I think even in the cold weather, with everything, and how I think just losing again, I just hope we're just not dejected, but just sick of this shit.
I hope so, and I hope Jalen Waddle's good to go, and same thing with
it looks
Raheem Mostert, that they're just and you game running and everything. Tyreek's gotta be ready. They all gotta be ready.
Well, I don't I know Tyreek. I don't blame Tyreek if his mind wasn't all there because his house went on fire. So if he was a little distracted, that is fair. I don't think he was, because he played fine. I think he. They
were saying on first. I didn't really. I was half asleep when it happened. Very 80% asleep when it happened. But the one that they got the PI on, that if Tyreek.
Oh yeah, he would have ran.
That could have been a
Yeah. No, I mean, I was happy we got the penalty, but I wish Tyreek would have caught it because, there were so many open plays there for us to march down the field and score, and just we didn't make it. And like Tua threw a bad ball at the end there, like the final interception. He should have not thrown that.
Tua's biggest thing is Tua, it felt very much like Josh Allen. They both haven't been playing the sacred football, and that's what cost you this week. He needs to play better than against.
Well, that's what's been costing us all season is that the Dolphins' biggest opponent has been the Dolphins. We've been shooting ourselves in the foot, and when we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, like the Commanders game, we scored 45 on them. That was us playing perfect football, and we need and I know, granted, it was the Commanders, and I know, granted, like one of the other good games was the Jets we played when we shut them out, is that we need to play games like that. And I know these are all good opponents, and we only beat one playoff-worthy team one team in the playoffs this entire year, and granted, it's one of the best teams, but...
Right. On the bright side is,
the
Chiefs usually come down to their opponent, and they haven't really looked great anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens with Chiefs. It's definitely going to be an ugly game. I hate to say it. I hope somebody is able to get to Patrick Mahomes.
Well, we're going to need a lot. I mean, Xavier Howard looks like he's not going to play either. So, like, we're going to have a lot, and we're going to have a lot of, like, defensively, like, ironically, Eli Apple was not the problem last night. I think he played well.
He didn't Patrick Mahomes. He knows a couple things. He played them before.
Right. So
you got to have your cross. Here's the biggest things about going into the game with a couple other. One, everybody but Chris Jones had like basically the week off, and you have a short week, so that really hurt like rest out though. So on top of everything else, but you know what? Like no holds barred. It's gonna don't stop anything. You know what I mean? Like the end of the road, like throw out all the top. Right? Is that the end? Throw out all the top.
Something like that. But what it comes down to is that it's going to be cold, and if it's like it says it might be like down to -5, which just sounds cold from saying that. It's either going to be down to -5 or feel like -5, which is basically the same thing. Which might come down to running the football, and both teams are good at that. And as long as Mike McDaniel remembers to run the ball, but if we have Raheem back, that shouldn't be a problem. And Raheem and Jalen Waddle are like two of our biggest weapons on offense, and not having them did hurt. And it's a battle of attrition, and we've just we've lost the battle of attrition a lot. We're not as healthy, but who knows? We made it to the playoffs last season. We had a horrible O-line, and our defense sucks, and we almost won the playoff game. So I think we're positionally, we're even injured, we're still better off in places. So who knows?
True.
And if the ball's icy, then I don't know if the Chiefs receivers are going to catch it or not.
I mean, that's the big thing. We haven't really been able to catch it.
So it's going to be a
Jalen. I don't know who Jalen Ramsey is. Rasheed Rice or Travis Kelce. Eli Apple might be able to take on Rasheed Rice. And I don't know if you've got a safety to cover.
As long as Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott are healthy there, that should be fine. Yeah, it's legitimately like, so yeah, we lost. It happens, but but the thing that I know some Dolphins fans are like, all the sky is falling type deal. Unlike past years, perspective helps. A, we're not the Jaguars. B, we're not the Colts. We didn't have to win and we're in and then lose. We were not the Saints or something that you needed to win and need help like we were in so many different years. We legitimately did what we had to do to get into this race. So this game legitimately does not matter. As long as you're in it, you have a chance to win it. And that's what matters. Our job right now is to win against all odds.
And I mean, Tampa Bay did it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was with Tom Brady. That team back. So as long as you can bring your defense, anything possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can move on.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll come back talk about this from the Chiefs side when we get to the Chiefs, but do you want to just skip through the Chiefs, because it was really like they didn't do much against.
Mm-hmm. That was it.
Yep. It wasn't the greatest game because it was because of everyone injured on the Chargers versus everyone resting for the Chiefs. It was basically a preseason game almost.
Right. It was 13-12. That was it.
Yeah.
They 4 field goals.
They were locked in, and now the Chargers have like a top 5 draft pick.
Yeah. All right.
Moved on. Well, I'm good with that game.
All right, so we'll just skim past
some of these games, we won't say a lot on them. Lions won 30-20 against the Vikings. They won. They were fighting for 2 seeds. Sam Laporta got hurt.
Yeah.
He'll be out.
Hopefully that. Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't be like it won't be the Lions only playoff.
Right. Not a meaningless one. There was like victory formation down at the end. All the way down. I don't know. Heard a lot of people people pages and they feel out of it. It is what it is.
It's football. Just expect anything.
Right. I know they were talking about how it came out. I can understand that when people just maybe a little tackle, but that's about it. I don't know. They wanted to get somebody smaller. Jimmy Graham touchdown.
Yeah, Jamal did. After leading the NFL in touchdowns last season.
He got injured.
I think the Saints was not the right going to the Saints wasn't the right team for him, but maybe we'll see next year.
Right. But yeah, I don't think that it was they just wanted that out.
I don't think they should keep Dennis Allen. That's just my opinion, but we'll see if they do or not. I mean, he hasn't been fired yet, but if the other teams are going to hire like new like coaches that might be better than you might.
I'm all for what if it's Allen and give it another quarterback. By all means, I want the veteran. I know there's more problems with Broncos. That's kind of it.
Yep.
Let me speaking of Dennis Allen and coaching, Arthur Smith coaching is no more for the Falcons. Which probably, I have to admit, it was probably on the fence. It was probably like 4-9, and that was it was 17-17 at half. That was the last time it was the first half was still questionable. And then there was 31 more points scored and not a question anymore.
Right.
And honestly, I think they should have got another veteran out there somewhere, and that would have made a difference. I think. I don't really necessarily know who, because I mean, the Derek Carr would have been probably the obvious choice, but or Baker Mayfield. Oh, you know what? Those quarterbacks that are in your division that actually ended up with winning records.
Well, see, the problem was that they wanted to see what they had in Desmond Ridder, and they needed to find out what they had in Desmond Ridder, because if Desmond Ridder worked out, then they wouldn't have needed to worry about it. But since Desmond Ridder, I still don't know what Desmond Ridder is.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. When I say like a veteran, like maybe there was another. There could have been a backup choice. Could have been something. There were other backup choices too.
Could have traded for Ryan Tannehill, like we said they should have. Now since Arthur Smith is there, I'm not sure if they would take Ryan Tannehill, or any of these other quarterbacks we suggested to them, because
I still think Justin Fields, no matter who the coach is top of the list for trading, and then Russell Wilson. And then Russell Wilson, if Bill stays and he doesn't, that could be something. Russell Wilson is the Patriots, so we'll see. Other important game, because we talked about the South. The Buccaneers won 9-0. First shutout in I forget how long. I think it was a decade or something. But it's been a long time. Even if it was just a few years, it was still a long time. But 9-0, and they brought their third straight NFC South divisional championship to Tampa Bay. Yeah. Baker was hurt, so we'll see how he does against the Eagles on Monday night.
I think I know now. I know I said it was a crapshoot, and like one of the like bottom tier games of playoffs was mine, but it was the Dolphins and the Chiefs because of how they were playing. I feel like the Buccaneers Eagles is the one right above it just because of how well the Bucs have been playing. Like I feel like they have. I've said the NFC South is going to get an easy matchup if they play the Eagles, or even the Cowboys away, or the Cowboys not at home. So, but since they got the Eagles and the Eagles haven't been playing well, I feel like the Bucs have a huge opportunity here.
Right. We'll see how they do. We'll see how the Bucs do, because they haven't played great, but they played well enough to win the division, at least this week. So luckily they were playing the Panthers.
Well, I mean, it was a struggle to win that one too.
Right. But I mean, they just struggled to get touchdowns. They played pretty good on defense. So the Panthers ended up as the worst team in the league this year, and their number one pick is with the Bears,
and that is why they are looking for a new general manager.
Right. So onward to the next team. The Jets won 17-3, first time in like 15 games or something against the Patriots that the Jets finally won. So that's at least 7.5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many head coaches or who the last head coach and quarterback was for that, but good job, Jets. Don't know what that means for Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm. Well, if Bill said that he's willing to give up like being a general manager, then like I think the Patriots just hire a new general manager and keep him, because I think it's his problem is doing both. I think he's a fine coach. I think he just needs someone to get play. I just don't think he's able to get players that he wants like he used to.
Yeah,
and he's
well,
not.
and he I mean, it's a lot on the menu if you're doing the coaching and the GMing and the scouting. Some new scouts might help too. So
Right, like they might need better people on the scout team, because I know he's not alone doing all this, so he might need better, coaches under him, better scouts under him. But I don't think he needs to do both, and I think he can just focus on coaching. And I think because he does a fantastic. No, I don't care if they're like getting the 3rd draft pick. They do such a good job with his defenses. Like he shuts down like things you do well, and it doesn't matter how bad they were. Their defense was still able to stop these teams.
oh yeah, the defense is not the problem, and that was without their number 1 pick in Christian Gonzalez and their best defensive player Matthew Judon.
Mm-hmm. I don't like playing Matthew Judon. I don't like it at all. I've said he's a kaiju on defense, and he legitimately was a huge missing factor for them.
Right. Only thing we'll get into it, and we'll do a recap of our predictions. But you were, I think you said you were right on what the Jets were gonna do.
Yeah, ending up at 7-10.
Right. But you said that they were gonna but that was with Aaron Rodgers. So sounds like you might have actually been wrong.
I don't know. Hey, we don't know how well Aaron would have done.
I at least think he would have accounted for 2 more wins. That still wouldn't have been good enough for the playoffs.
Right? They might have won more with him. He wasn't looking good in the plays he did, but I can't judge an entire season on the minimum plays he made.
Right. Well, we'll talk more about that. We'll do a predictions recap or review of our predictions of 2023.
How wrong we were on some, and those ones we were right on.
Spoiler alert! Technically, I got more right than he did.
But you got more playoff teams. You got more right on the playoff list,
which is all that matters. It's about getting into the playoffs. I got 1 more right. So
hey, I got the Jets right. It doesn't matter. I just got the Jets perfectly right.
We'll see. We'll tally up the scores and see who got closer on what. I at least won on the playoff. At least the amount of teams by 1. I got 9 teams right out of both conferences. He got 8. I
know I got the Chiefs perfectly right.
Right.
That was actually shocking that I was right. The Chiefs going 11-6.
Right. And I had them going 12-5. But we'll talk about that in our predictions. I'm shocked I got that one wrong. Anyways, meaningless game. Browns versus the Bengals. Bengals look great. They only played that well a couple more games. They'd actually be playing next weekend.
Well, they just had to play against a team that was basically just resting.
Right. Browns rested like a lot of pieces. So see how they do. I'm rooting for the Browns.
I'm surprised the Browns actually scored.
Right. But it was pretty late in the 4th quarter. So
right. Like their top receiver was David Bell, who was probably like 4th or 5th on the
right. Big thing is Jake Browning, quality backup. So awesome. That's what you need in the league. Only bad thing is I think they would have won more games if they actually played him from the beginning, because then I don't know if Joe Burrow would have actually gotten as hurt as he did. So
well, honestly, Jake Browning might have like starter potential, like with how well he did this year. If a team might want, I definitely feel like he'll stay a backup. But if a team might want to like send draft picks over for him,
right? We'll see. I think it's something we'll talk about in our off-season debates. One of many that we'll have. Anyways, next game, the Packers clinched the 7th seed because they beat the Bears for the umpteenth 10th time in a row or something like that. It's been years since the Bears won. Or the Bears
just, Bears just wish that the Packers have the Bears number. That's just it. Like,
and Jordan Love 2-0 versus the Bears. At least so far, I don't think he ever played them before. I don't know for sure, but he might be 3-0 because it's like they haven't lost to the Bears in a while.
Joe Barry's defense came to play here. Like the Bears suck. Like, looking at them statistically, like only 148 yards for Justin Fields and only 27 rush yards for like Justin Fields. Like, they didn't have 100 yards rushing from 3 different players rushing Chicago.
Not even 100. Wow.
Yeah, 75 yards rushing from 3 players.
Wow. Anyways, Packers won. They did it without Christian Watson, and I think Romeo Doubs went down in the middle of the game too. So they're getting it done. They play the Cowboys. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, but good luck to you, Packers.
They have a lot. I mean, they have a lot of, like, with Jaden Reed's like fantastic, but Bo Melton and Dontavian Wicks, are coming up there too. They have like all these like young receivers that Aaron Rodgers probably wishes he had.
Yeah, but well, he had some of them last year,
right? He just didn't want to like build chemistry with them.
Yeah.
But still, like, I feel that they have a good. It's going to be tough against the Cowboys because the Cowboys at home are like the best team in the league.
Right. All I'm going to say is if Jordan Love wins them and wins the Super Bowl, like, just get out of the Packers afterwards, because the potential for all Packers quarterbacks is one Super Bowl and that's it.
Yeah, Jordan. If Jordan gets his 1 Super Bowl with the Packers, jump, leave. Tell your agent you want to trade.
I mean, maybe a short deal, but like, but oh my God, if they win it, oh my God, I would love it. I just love it because first I was right. I said it for months that I was, that he's going to be the quarterback. So of the now and the future, I was like, I think happy about that.
I think he's just great. He went like in the right position to like Aaron. Not many other teams do it like the Packers, and more should do it like the Packers. Of draft a quarterback, let them wait, learn, and then start their fourth year and magically become super good.
Right.
But if they can beat the Cowboys at home, then
that's gonna be really impressive with the way the Cowboys are playing. Speaking of the Cowboys, they won 38-10,
winning their division.
Right, won their division, and I know people for the last couple of weeks were saying Lamar is the MVP. I don't know. Derek had a pretty good game. He's had some really good games. He's got the numbers too, so it's gonna be interesting to see how the voters go about this because I could see it.
Right, Dak's been pretty good. And
he also could win comeback player of the year because of how lousy he played last year with enormous. I doubt it will be, but I feel like he's on that list because
I feel like comeback player of the year is like you come back from not playing more than coming back from bad play, but
that's lousiness too and stuff. Yeah, because Baker's on that list, and so is Joe Flacco.
Yeah, well, I feel like DeMar Hamlin still has like the highest chance of winning it just because of
what happened to him.
Yeah, but even though he didn't even play last week or this week,
right?
I know it feels like I completely understand the his entire situation, but you need to kind of play more, like, because he could come back next season and win comeback player of the year for how much he didn't play this season if he plays well. DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, he could. It would be an odd one to be back-to-back comeback player of the year for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm not saying anything bad against him. I'm just saying they're not playing him, and I don't know if that's for his own health or if they just don't think he's that good.
I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. So, but Cowboys 38-10 against the Commanders. CeeDee Lamb, fantastic. He's definitely. I think it's between him, Tyreek, and Christian McCaffrey for offensive player of the year.
Yeah, well, I was legitimately worried with this game that CeeDee was going to beat out Tyreek for the receiving title, but he didn't. So because they were like really neck and neck for a bit there with these last few games for CeeDee.
They were, and I mean, if CeeDee had a better start to the season,
CeeDee might have. If the Cowboys started stronger, like CeeDee might have broke the 2,000 yards almost.
Yeah. Other than that, the Ron Rivera got let go. He was fired, which we knew was happening. I mean, he didn't have a great season. I mean, he lost more games. He lost double he had 8 wins last year, so he lost 4 more games this season. So
right. right? Like with how Sam Howell's potential was from the end of last season and the addition of Eric Bieniemy, it was really shocking that they got worse.